Adolf Hitler, propagandist, artist, and false savior of a downtrodden 1930s Germany. Much is known about his life, as it's been studied meticulously in the years following his death and the fall of the Third Reich. A great amount of this information has become commonplace, such as the fact that he was high on drugs throughout the entirety of World War II, but there remains lesser-known facts, ones that seem almost too strange to be real. Welcome to Lucid Trigger TV, and this is Fact or Fake Hitler Top 5. Number 5. Hitler was a billionaire. While in prison for treason, Hitler wrote Mein Kampf, an autobiographical manifesto which outlined his ideology and future plans for Germany. Following Hitler's rise to becoming Chancellor, he ordered copies of Mein Kampf to be purchased by the government and given as state gifts to newlyweds, with himself pocketing the hefty royalty payments. In addition to this siphoning of government funds, Hitler accepted donations from large multinational corporations and refused to pay income tax. By the time of his death, he had accumulated an approximate $5 billion in wealth, including an extensive art collection and various properties. So yeah, this one happens to be true. Through unscrupulous means, Hitler became a billionaire. Oh, and after the war, his estate, including the copyright to Mein Kampf, was given to the Bavarian government, which then subsequently banned any reprinting of the work in Germany. Number 4. Fact or fake? The Nazis invented the blow-up sex doll? According to this legend, Hitler himself played a pivotal role in a super-secret project designed with the goal of preserving the sexual purity of his fighting men. That and to stop the spread of syphilis from French hookers as Nazis ruled through Paris. Allegedly, the dolls were created in Dresden at the German Hygiene Museum, a facility that was destroyed in the bombing of the city in 1945. Sounds pretty crazy, right? Even for Hitler? It's a little too crazy. It turns out that this convincing ruse was dreamt up by the creator of a blog in 2016.
Must be an on button somewhere. Press the Apple thing.
A couple of years later, in 2020, the story took hold and spread like an infectious parasite across multiple social media platforms, leaving a wake of young, naive historians and unemployed stay-at-home dads convinced of the fallacious claims, likely never able to accept the rubbery, irrepressible truth. Verdict? Final analysis? Claims that Hitler invented the blow-up sex doll are completely inflated. Number 3. Hitler was saved by drowning from a priest. In January of 1894, young Adolf Hitler, only 4 years old, was playing tag with some friends near the banks of the River Inn when he slipped and fell, plunging into the icy waters. Johann Kühlberger, then a boy slightly older than Hitler, sprung into action, diving in and rescuing the terrified lad. Years later, Kühlberger would become a priest, and Hitler would become, well, let's just say he wound up on a different path. Is it true? Was Hitler really saved by a priest? Perhaps, but more likely not. There was a boy that was rescued from the River Inn in 1894 as reported on by a local newspaper, but no names were given. The story that the boy was Hitler only surfaced in 1980 when shared by Kühlberger's predecessor, Father Max Trammell. A second-hand account of an unverified story 100 years in the making. Color me skeptical on this one. Number 2. Hitler was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. On March 15, 1939, German troops marched into Czechoslovakia, forcibly annexing a large chunk of the nation, including the Sudetenland, territory that Germany had lost due to treaties signed at the end of World War I. Later that year, Swedish legislator Erik Gottfried Christian Brandt caused an uproar amongst the international community when he nominated Hitler for the Nobel Peace Prize. Brandt, an anti-fascist, withdrew his nomination shortly after, stating he never intended the submission to be taken seriously. Seeing the gesture as an insult, Hitler barred all Germans from accepting a Nobel Prize, forcing 3 Germans who subsequently won Nobels during the era of the Third Reich to decline their medals. No one would be awarded the prize for peace in 1939, and later that year, in September, Germany would go on to invade Poland and kick off the start of the most brutal war humanity has ever seen. So yeah, this one, 100% verified truth. Adolf Hitler was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Fact or fake? Number 1. Hitler was vegetarian, and the Nazis passed laws against animal cruelty. It's early in the war, and things are going well for the Nazis. Officers and officials gather in extravagant dining halls set with lavish abundance, preparing to dine upon some of the finest food in all of Western Europe. And the Führer won't stop droning on about the cold, cruel way that animals are butchered and prepared for consumption. By all accounts by his contemporaries, this was a regular occurrence, and done to dissuade the men from eating meat. You see, Hitler himself was a meat eater turned vegetarian later in life, and his public image as such was made clear. To the Nazis, Aryans and animals were allied in a struggle against the contaminators, the undercreatures, of which to them there was no bound. Interestingly enough, in the early 1930s, Nazi Germany became the first nation to ban experimentation on live animals for the purpose of scientific research. They also passed laws regulating their slaughter for food, and many high-ranking officials even sought to ban hunting, all in an effort to end the unbearable torture and suffering of animals. Any German who violated this law would be punished accordingly and committed to a concentration camp. Fact: Hitler was indeed vegetarian, and the Nazis did pass laws against animal cruelty, all the while committing many atrocities all across Europe. Hey, look at that. We've reached the end of the video. Were you surprised by any of the above? I know I sure was. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more, and have a great day.